blood. You look to your buddies. You look to your friends.
There's only a couple guys in the whole world that make me love pro wrestling, and you're one of them.
You know, all the bad shit you heard about us, it's all true. But another thing that's true is we love professional wrestling, and that's why we're here. I'm not sports entertainment anymore.
Talk to him, kid.
This is a new beginning, and it starts tonight.
A new day is dawning for DX.
Know who you're talking to?
Welcome, wrestling fans, to another episode of X-Pac 12360 right here at AfterBuzz TV. Today we're going to be recapping the past week in wrestling through the eyes for whom this podcast is named. But before we get to him, let's introduce the rest of the team. I am the voice of X-Pac 12360 in human form. The internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donico, joined by a documentarian, a cameraman, fellow host here at AfterBuzz TV, just a lovely human being. It's Jimbo Frank.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Jimbo.
That's nice. You look lovely. Not as lovely as Christy does, but you still look lovely. That jacket really ties the room together.
Well, what sucked was I was going to wear a dress, but she ended up wearing it at Access, and it just felt I didn't want to get too awkward. And of course, I'm going to introduce these two together because they were attached at the hip all weekend. Please welcome our special guest, Ron Funches, and our host, Sean X-Pac Waltman.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, what a weekend in wrestling.
What do you mean attached at the hip?
Every time I saw you guys.
You're not Christy at all.
I'm not a big fan of how you said that, Donica.
Well, shoot. Let's back to one, everybody.
No.
No, y'all have been the best of friends, and it showed very clearly at over at Wrestlemania weekend.
We're not, I mean, are we best friends, Ron?
We're not like best friends.
I'd say
We're
the best
newer
friends
friends.
Yeah,
We're
we haven't
newer.
had it.
We don't have enough experience to be best friends yet.
Yeah, but
but
Ron-
we hit it off real well.
Okay, I was going to say, Ron shared a room with me this week, and that's a pretty good test right there.
That's pretty close.
How'd that go, Ron?
I thought it went perfect. It went really well. I was like, this guy's just as messy as me. Just wants to get stoned and throw things around the room. I'm in.
So how was the weekend for y'all? It started pretty early with you, Sean. You flew on Wednesday.
I flew on Wednesday evening, yes, and Thursday did a table for three with DDP and Scott Hall.
Excellent.
Yes.
Any idea of when we're going to see that?
I have no clue.
Excellent.
What'd you eat?
Oh, I ate some kind of beef
Yeah.
tenderloin gimmick, and I had him, get all the sauce off of it. And
I was gonna say, was it hard to stay on your diet this weekend?
it was brutal trying
Yeah,
to do
it
that.
was.
Like, I actually got heartburn, and I never get heartburn anymore.
Really?
Yeah, and also, even though they put you up in the hotel, it's still you end up in the poorhouse by the time you leave just eating, because it's like it takes 5 minutes just to get to Main Road from the place we were staying at. Am I like exaggerating? Maybe just a tad.
No,
right?
you're just. I mean, yeah, it's like real secluded, which is what I
Yeah.
think they wanted, right?
And that part was great.
It felt like its own private island.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Except for like if you wanted, I mean, we got a burger and you got 2 patties and it was like $60.
Yeah,
No joke.
that's no bullshit.
That's ridiculous. They knew who was staying there, and they could charge whatever the hell they wanted. That's awful.
Well,
Well,
no,
I think they keep the same price no matter who's
Yeah.
staying there.
Yeah, no, it was. I don't want to complain because it was amazing.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I'm just,
How,
I'm just being.
how long do those shoots usually run for the table for three? Because they cut it down to a pretty tight 25 minutes.
I'm going to say we were there for an hour, maybe a little longer, maybe an hour and a half. Sometimes it's hard to tell with me when it comes to talking, especially when you're talking to friends.
Yeah.
You know how that
As
goes.
evidenced on the past 30 episodes of X-Pac 12360, you really like talking to your old friends. It's
Yeah.
and it's a hell of a show, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about the elephant in the room, or rather the gorgeousness that's not in the room? Christy made her debut over the past weekend. Did you get a chance to see her?
Christy St. Cloud.
Christy St. Cloud.
I thought her name was Christy Olsen the whole time, man.
Yeah. She was
What's going
lying.
on
She was
around here?
lying to us the whole time.
I'm a little miffed right now.
I get it. If you had a name that sounded like an 80s porn star, you'd hide it until later.
It's not something you just wear on a hello, my name is.
Yeah, no, you wait.
I would have been mad when I saw her for keeping that info from me if she didn't look so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where did you end up seeing her?
We the picture that I think can
That-
people
that-
see
Yeah,
the
it was.
picture?
Yeah, we showed it.
That was the area where the friends and family and like a lot of
Day of the
those
event?
people.
Yeah,
at
at
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
And at the what do they call that thing? The Camping World Stadium.
Yeah, Camping World Stadium.
That's a
The
horrible
Citrus
name.
Bowl.
Terrible.
That's why I think that's why everybody called it the Citrus Bowl on the show, was because it's the Camping World Stadium.
Yeah, nobody
Doesn't come
wants
off as
that.
hot.
Yeah, no.
Because here's the thing, like in a couple of years, Camping Worlds might be out of business, and there'll be somebody else sponsoring that stadium. So,
And maybe the stadium will keep Camping World going for a little while, because it's a lot of food, a lot of places to sit. Ticket price is absolutely ridiculous, but appropriate for WrestleMania. Who knows how often I tried looking into the building. They don't do sporting events that often there. Like WrestleMania is the biggest one they've had in a really long time. Yeah.
and they do. I'm sure they do some college football there.
Yeah.
Yeah, big college football.
And I'm pretty sure that Eddie Graham ran there one time back in the early 80s, late 70s.
I know the XFL used to run there. The Orlando
Makes
team
sense.
ran out of there. Any other big takeaways from the weekend before we go to it in detail?
Well, I learned, I'm sure you guys know, but just how beloved he is. Like, everybody, I'm sitting there, I talk to my friends later, I go, oh, now I know what it's like when I bring people to my shows and stuff, and they have to watch me talk to people and take pictures the whole time while they stand in the corner, because that's pretty much what I did. Everybody wanted to talk to Pac. They love him, man, and it was really nice to see. It was really beautiful to see, and not, for any reason, not because they could get anything, they just love the man. I understand. He's a good guy.
You're talking about talent or the fans?
Both.
'Cause, I mean, the thing is, Ron, with the fans, I can take that at face value, but with some of the people inside the industry, you never know, man.
Yeah, but
what their motive is. But as long as they're trying to work me,
yeah.
that's all. That's fine with me.
No, I get that, but that's you being paranoid, because that'd be if it was like one or two people, but this was like everybody every day.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
coming up to you. You're just like, man, you gotta deal with it.
Yeah, it
Well,
was,
I love people, so
yeah, and then people like you.
yeah, it's a
So
wonderful thing.
I'd like to take this opportunity to let the folks watching or listening at home know that they can pick up their very own X-Pac 12360 shirt from Sean's Pro Wrestling Tees store. That's ProWrestlingTees.com, and you can pick up either just the regular NWO style or the 6 style of the X-Pac 12360 shirt. With that, why don't we take a look at the biggest headlines from the past few days in the X-Pac 12360 News of the Week.
X-Pac 12360 Wrestling News.
So starting off this week, our good friend of the show, Mick Foley, is finally getting his hip surgery. He's been talking about it for a couple of months. He was originally going to have it on April 10th, but he's waiting till April 19th to come back. He's got one more trip to Wales, and he doesn't have to make an appearance until May 13th in Queens, which isn't too far from where he lives, so it's not going to be too hard to get there. And then he's got nothing until July. He'll have a good opportunity to heal. Happy that he can finally start to feel better.
I'm happy too, because this is a surgery that a lot of my friends have had, and I haven't met anyone that doesn't have good things to say about it, that didn't come out of that. The only one that had a problem with it was Conan.
Yeah?
Yeah. He had it done down in Mexico.
So that might
Not
be the
that
problem.
because not that there's not great medical care down there, but there's also some pretty bad medical care.
Depends where you
healthcare
go.
down there. Yeah. So, anyways, look forward to seeing Mick Foley not walking around in constant pain, because that's what's going on right now. I guarantee it.
It'll be good for him. I mean, especially since he already has done a lot of the work getting that weight off of him and stuff. It'll be nothing but positive. It'll be great.
Yeah. For
Do you
sure.
think this might affect him putting weight back on because he's going to be out of commission and not be able to do DDP yoga and function and move with
well,
his
here's the
hip
thing,
surgery for a while?
Jimbo. As long as he keeps his eating habits the same, he should be just fine.
Yeah.
And you adjust your caloric intake to the amount of calories you burn. And if you're not as active, you're not on the road as much, you'll want to eat less. This is I think he's at a different place in his life now, as far as like how he eats. He has to be, else he wouldn't look like that.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah.
So-
All of his pictures from his time as GM were just svelte as all hell.
And he just like me, is putting off getting surgery to go make that money over in Europe.
We hope for a speedy recovery for him. It'll be great to see him moving around after this surgery. But from one GM to the new Raw general manager, let's talk about Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle returned this past Monday night on Raw. Now a Hall of Famer. He is the newest Raw GM. Vince McMahon announced a new GM, and out came Teddy Long, but it was a wonderful fake out. He's like, I'm sorry, my bad. And we got Kurt Angle. So now we have Kurt Angle's going to be on weekly WWE TV. Super excited about him. He is just as dorky and character-driven as he was back when he was here. What are you looking forward to seeing Angle on TV?
Well, first of all, I like how they did that with Teddy. Mm-hmm. That was nice. I knew that was, I mean, you kind of knew that wasn't that was what was going on, but it was still done well nonetheless. And how do you not like Teddy Long? Just a real lovable... come on, right?
Yeah, his speech, the Hall of Fame, was just priceless.
So funny.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, but, okay, so you wondered if that campy humor was going to translate into 2017. Absolutely, 100%.
His bit in the back with Big Cass and
that was so
that's how you
good.
spell soft? Beautiful, adorable.
This is your down your alley, man.
I mean, I love Kurt because he always commits 100%. And I think that's what you want in anything comedic is that you don't want them to be done with like a wink or be like, I'm too cool for this. He's always 100% genuine, which makes him a great character. Yeah. So I'm real excited. I mean, I mean, the fact that their general managers are like Daniel Bryan and Kurt Angle is amazing to me. It's an awesome time.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility since we have Shane McMahon who's actively taking part in matches every other month. Do you think we're going to see Kurt Angle in action on Raw or on a pay-per-view or next year at WrestleMania? I think it might be a never say never situation. But yeah, you think?
Maybe if he gets in the ring, it's going to be a lot bigger deal than just a Raw or SmackDown match, man, or even one of the
lesser pay-per-views.
Yeah, one of the lesser pay-per-views besides the big four, or even the big two, either a SummerSlam or Mania. I just can't see using up something like that for
a small show.
No, no way. Not saying that he's not going to end up in a WWE ring again. I'm just saying. Not on something like that, man. Trust me.
I could see them doing something like they did with Rock and Cena and announcing it and then not having it till the next Mania and doing something like Kurt Angle's announcing now that he'll wrestle at Mania 34 situation.
And just
building. Because everyone's going to be so intrigued to see what he has to say and what he does. He's great on TV.
Agreed.
So good.
And now that we have him and Shane, their match at King of the Ring back when is still highly heralded as just one of the most entertaining. And now that they're on competing brands, I think there's a possibility of seeing
a rematch.
A rematch. but now a legit Raw versus SmackDown, put something on the line for the shows. Give it higher stakes. Who knows?
Bring back the King of the Ring just for that.
Just for that, yeah.
I would love them bring back. I want a Queen of the Ring. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Oh, you might get that with this women's tournament coming
It's
out.
not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Explain.
Well, this is more about like them bringing in like the cruiserweight thing where they're bringing in people from outside of the WWE to kind of showcase up and comers. I want a full-fledged like Queen of the Ring with Charlotte, Sasha, all those people where it's like, same thing as the King of the Ring but with a lady. So it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, instead of bringing people in, just using everybody that we already have.
Yeah, I'm happy with. I mean, both are fine. You can do both. They can be separate entities. But I think that to not showcase just how strong the women's division is, especially since they're separate, to just pull them together to have you have the network. They're always doing these one-offs. I would love to do a one-off all-woman pay-per-view Queen of the Ring. That would be
with no men on the show in sight anywhere.
No man, I mean referees and doing just your regular thing, but every match is in this tournament. Yeah, it would be an all woman show. I think you would bring in a lot of women who watch wrestling anyway, who are watching the shows, and you're going to bring in some outside interests. I just think, if you're doing a UK tournament, and you're doing all these other things, it makes sense to me.
Would you take like some of the top, some of the main event talent and Raw and SmackDown, and like kind of figure out how to add them into the Queen of the Ring pay-per-view?
Yeah, I would do a mix. Yeah, absolutely. I would love it. You got like a couple like indie darlings, but at the end of the day, it's probably gonna be Charlotte or Sasha or somebody who's winning it. In my mind, at least.
Charlotte from the Queen City.
She would probably win it.
At least the inaugural. So let's go from a beginning to an end. On this week, Goldberg's WWE deal has officially come to an end. There's nothing planned for Goldberg right now, but his run has been so successful. He originally returned for one match with Brock Lesnar back at Survivor Series, but plans changed when they saw in what shape he was in and how the fans were reacting to him. And I loved the match on Sunday. I think it fit exactly what it needed to be. But for right now, Goldberg's time with WWE is over.
Yeah. And like you said, it was highly successful for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. Okay, I know that there's this, certain amount of people that just weren't happy to see him.
Yeah, you guys ask the crowd in Orlando on Sunday. They're not super favorable at when he was coming out, but I think it was also a subject of how long the show was going as well. But
Well, I just think that they were waiting to finally see Brock just kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what regardless of how much they liked Goldberg,
Mm-hmm.
it can be like, okay, you love the guy, but you still want to see him get beat.
yeah,
Like Mike Tyson, I love Mike Tyson, but man, I hate to say it. Sorry, Mike, but I was happy when Buster Douglas got you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's kind of like the exact opposite of his last run, right? It's just was super motivated, enjoyable to watch, and that, like, we commented on it at the time, is that, that match could not have gone better. Like, it was exactly what you would have wanted to see. It reminded me, not that it was like as hard hitting, but it reminded me of watching like a Japanese style strong style match where you're just seeing them just hitting each other over and over and over.
No wasted movements, Ron.
Yeah.
No wasted movements out there. No tackle, drop down, leapfrog bullshit. I mean, come on, man. This is what I want.
let's see some chain with these two.
Well, I mean,
I'm kidding.
No.
I mean, we saw it with Braun and Big Show, and it was pretty good.
That was amazing.
Fair.
Anyways, I was really, really pleased with that. Okay, if it wasn't for how the Taker thing ended after the match, I would have been just fine with that ending the show. Brock and Goldberg with that amount of time, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Do we really need it? Like, okay, if you had an extra 10 minutes on, sometimes it makes it better.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. I will take a 10, 15-minute main event over a 25-minute, half an hour main event if it's going to be
Concise.
full of that much energy and excitement.
That was
Come
the thing
on, man.
is nobody really knew what to expect because the only matches we've gotten previously were spear, jackhammer. That's it. So once the shoulder went up, everybody went, we're in undiscovered territory. Anything can happen, and that made it that much more exciting.
And that when Brock got Goldberg in the beginning and sent him on Suplex City, or sent him to Suplex City, sorry. And then when he got up and fired up, and that just as he's turning around, he's still firing up. Yeah, boom! He gets freaking speared.
That was so
The
awesome.
timing was perfect.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that people just don't get, like other wrestlers. When they're watching, they don't understand that those are the things that get the people, not your, like, if there's a move involved with it, it makes it a really good move. It makes it even better. But, man, it's that intensity and that catching somebody out of nowhere where you always got to make the people, like, catch them with something they're not expecting.
Yeah.
When you hit somebody with a tackle, people are expecting a drop down and possibly a leapfrog or something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I really, really enjoy it when I see guys working a style like that. You can't work that style unless they really care about both guys.
Yeah.
And the match has to be really hot for that to work.
Paid off. We'll talk about more about that in our main segment. Let's talk about the biggest reaction the entire weekend. And that was the return of the Hardy Boys during the ladder match for Raw's tag team titles. They made their long-rumored return to WWE as Team Extreme. Some people expected them to return in their broken personas as they appeared at Ring of Honor the night before. But they returned, won the tag team championships, and retained them Monday night against Gallows and Anderson, and now don't have anybody lined up necessarily. Next week we're going to be getting a number one contendership match between Enzo and Cass and Sheamus and Cesaro, but the Hardys are back, and everybody loves it. How do we all react to the Hardys coming down
All
on
I know
WrestleMania?
is, to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to the match, or because I didn't. Well, nobody knew.
Yeah.
They were hit. Nobody in the, none of the talent. Nobody.
Supposedly
in the
they
back
showed
knew.
up right before the match, and they were just escorted right in.
That's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
So, I just know that the freaking, if there was a roof on the place, it would have been blown off, and no one's reaction, bar none, came anywhere even close to the reaction they got when they came out. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. I freaked out. I know that. I freaked out. I was trying to keep it cool my whole weekend. Was riding in a limo with pretty much the whole NWO plus Shawn Michaels. And I was like, no pictures. I'm not taking any pictures. I'm going to chill out. But when I saw Matt Hardy, I was like, can I get a pic? Can I
Yeah, man. I was even like, after our Kliq event, I was even like, Ron, you didn't even get a picture with all of us. And he goes, oh, no, I didn't want to mark out. And
I didn't stop Keven.
It's okay, man. It's okay. Like, it's okay to be a fan and mark out. And it's just, Ron's not a mark for us. He's a mark for Matt Hardy.
Putting that in the press release.
Matt Hardy and Stephanie McMahon.
It's Steph too, yeah. So, yeah, back in the day, like if you had asked me to take your pitch, I'd have cut the head off. Yeah, because you wouldn't have been able to see in the view thing, the viewfinder. Remember?
Yeah.
When we used to use like
Proper
regular
film
film.
A
cameras.
disposable camera?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, we'd take somebody's camera and like pull our pants down, take a picture of a butthole and stuff. Yeah.
The best pranks.
But to
That's
get back
gross.
to away from that, I mean, it's just awesome. Like nobody else is having. I've never seen a tag team have a good a year as this. To just be, and also to do it from back when people started to write them off, and then they come back with a vengeance, win every title that is possible to win, and then are back on Raw, and then also are like, "Fuck you, TNA! I love it. It's my favorite."
Do you think they should drop the boys part? Like
The Hardy Men?
or just the Hardys?
No,
No, just the Hardys.
No, you don't mess with certain things.
I
They're
would
the
update
boys.
the music. I would maybe have her do the piano music and stuff, because I feel like the music is dating them, and you want to hear it that first time when they come out, because you're like, I know that music, but then now it's kind of like, oh, that's old music. Now here comes
Early
some old
2000s.
guys.
Yeah, but you don't want it when you first come back. You want that familiar.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So probably the biggest story to come out of the weekend was Undertaker's last match. Now, I didn't necessarily expect this to be his last match, but afterwards everybody was saying, oh, this is probably his last match, and thank you, Taker, and he's probably retiring, and this and that. So it made sense, the way that he went out. After losing to Roman Reigns, he took off some of his gear, left it in the middle of the ring, and then descended down the stage, seemingly returning to the underworld. What is everybody's thoughts on Taker's last match?
I didn't know. He
denied it. He denied it.
Yes.
I kept being like, I think that was his last match, and he was like, nah.
Well, here's the thing, Ron. We were up there right by. I brought my mom and I brought Ron up to by the gorilla position, which was like 4 stories freaking high or something. It was like 4 flights of stairs to get up there, and so we stayed. We were standing on the side of the stage. And so we watched the whole thing. So I couldn't hear commentary. That match in particular, more than anything, watching it on TV with the commentary makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, night and day. I can't even tell you. There's never been a match I've ever seen that made that much of a difference watching it because of the drama and everything involved. So I had no idea that was it, man. Even after it went down like that, because we couldn't see where. And so as soon as it was over, I wanted to get everyone downstairs, and so we ran downstairs, man. And if I'd have known that, man, I'd have been there waiting for him when he got back.
Yeah.
Because I can't even imagine what the scene was back there. As soon as he walked through the curtain.
There's a great picture of Roman Reigns sitting by himself and looked like he was crying almost at the end of that match.
Well, here's the thing, Ron. When we watched that back the next day, Ron was sitting over in the room, dude, and I was trying to pretend like I wasn't bawling my freaking eyes out watching the thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, I could feel it. You could feel it. It's a very emotional thing, especially. I mean, I feel like you know Hulk Hogan, you know Stone Cold Steve Austin, but like the Undertaker was like that Rock, and not only just for wrestling fans, but just like anybody, especially, and I mean, I don't care how this sounds, for anyone who is like a lower middle class person, whether you're white, black, or whatever, they know the Undertaker because he represented that type of people. He represented the people who didn't have money, who were like, he represented trailer park trash and things like that. So I know people who do not like wrestling at all who love the Undertaker, just because he's what they grew up with.
Yeah, an icon's icon. Always been one of my favorites. I love him, and my favorite moment was at the end when he took off the hat and the eyes were closed, and like even in the stands, just chills. Like, okay, I guess this is it. Oh boy,
when you were there when he came in, where was that when he came in and we were all sitting there talking? Me, Christian, Jericho,
yeah, the day before
Edge.
at the was that the Hall of Fame?
Oh, okay, the Hall of Fame ceremony,
yeah.
And they were filming all that stuff, I guess, for documentary DVD, something like that.
WWE 24, the
Something
little
like
doc
that.
series they do.
Yeah. It never even occurred to me as we're talking that that he was, and I still don't think it. I still think he's coming back.
Yeah.
I'm sticking by that, Ron.
He's going to
go in, he's going to have that surgery, and he's going to feel good, and he's going to go, 1, 2, and not today.
Yeah, no.
Kick out.
I mean, that could be, but I feel like he's going to have that surgery. He's going to relax. He's going to look over at his pretty hot wife, and he's going to be like, I did enough.
Yeah, maybe for a few years, Ron.
Yeah.
What surgery is he supposed to get?
Hip replacement.
The same as McFoley?
Yeah, same as a lot
he
of
was
people.
definitely limp. He was limping in the match, but we saw him backstage, and he was having trouble getting around.
So we're going to see a return of Mean Mark Callis, probably. Maybe not the Undertaker. So right now, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm not sorry.
He's getting really emotional.
Got me.
I just. This can't be it, man. It can't be it. It can't go
He's
down
been
like
wrestling
that.
for 33
Taker.
years.
I don't care. It's all about what I want.
Wrestling.
It's all about what I want. One more match.
Oh, and I'm sure
Who
the
are you
fans will
putting
like
in that last match against?
No, I'm teasing. I've said this on different occasions when people have said that about, oh, come on, one more match. Well, what about the guy's health? So as much as I'd like to, in my mind, have this vision of Mark coming back and having another one, that might be it, man. And if that's what he wants, good for him. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, and it's a nice sentiment, but after a little while, it's like, man's enjoying his time off. Let him enjoy his time.
And just in case, what an amazing way to go out.
I agree. Totally.
What an amazing way to go out.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the match. But first, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for their constant support. And if you want to support the show, make sure to head over to iTunes and leave a rating and a comment. Please make sure to subscribe. Also, subscribe to us here on AfterBuzz TV to get notifications of when we're live every Wednesday. And make sure to check out all of our other wrestling programming as well. Like us on Facebook and follow Sean at TheRealXpac on Twitter for updates on upcoming guests, his upcoming appearances, and more. So stay where you are because we'll be right back after the short break on X-Pac 12360.
What's up, party people? Roxy Stryer here from The Tomorrow Show with Keven Undergaro. We're your twice-weekly broadcast of one man's midlife crisis and the mad millennials in Star Trek uniforms that follow him.
And I'm one of those millennials, Lauren Magrasso here. We've had some amazing guests like Russell Simmons, Ileana Douglas, and Craig Gass. Coolio, right?
Christian Blatt in the house to tell you to go to thetomorrowshow.com to check us out. We're live every Monday and Thursday from 10 to midnight Eastern. That's thetomorrowshow.com. Be there or be square, whatever that means.
And we're back here on X-Pac 12360 talking about the weekend that was WrestleMania. Let's talk about the Kliq reunion. We've been talking about it for weeks here on the show. And I was there. Ron, you were there. Sorry, Jimbo. But
why do you have to do that to Jimbo? That's bullshit, man.
I was there in spirit.
He was.
Still.
Yeah, no. He was asking about it, and I was keeping him updated.
I actually got to send Maria a bunch of questions to ask you guys.
I know.
was
I
really
was,
cool.
because her assistant hit
Kelly.
me up and was like, and so I assumed it was something like, not that that's not important, but
no.
I was like something urgent. So
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, yeah, I was thinking about questions for you guys. And I'm like, finally, after like a couple minutes, I was like, call Jimbo and Donica. Bing.
And it worked.
Yeah,
It
no.
was awesome.
Maria hosted the event.
She did a
And
great job.
did awesome job. Kev was marking out the whole time. It was really adorable. Did you hear he was playing the NWO music as you guys were walking to the stage and like giggling to himself? It was amazing.
Keven had on the NWO 6-ball shirt.
Yeah, it was really cool. So what was it like getting a chance to tell all of these stories with an audience as opposed to just talking amongst your friends?
Oh, it was enjoyable, quite enjoyable. Especially having Maria up there ask the questions. That doesn't suck at all. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
It's a big ass deal.
And what was it like meeting the diehard Kliq fans?
You know what? I just love meeting the people, the fans in general. But when somebody goes out of their way like that, I don't know. I just have emotional investment in those people. So I don't know. It wasn't long enough for me. The event wasn't long enough. I would have liked to have had it last all day.
Yeah, there was a moment where you had a private autograph signing, and they brought in like 20 people, and I think you really took them off guard because you're asking, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? And like you had an investment in the people that had an investment in you, and it was a really cool thing to watch. And they were like, oh, I wasn't expecting to talk,
or get a hug.
Yeah.
I remember one of my friends was like, oh, we're giving hugs. I'm like, for X amount of dollars they paid, they can have more than a hug.
Yeah, that's all I kept thinking about. I was like, man, you guys really like wrestling, and you got a lot of money, apparently. That's crazy.
It's a weird cross section.
That must have been that top tier, those 20 that got the personal meet and greet. Was there a lot of international people like you thought?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm not really sure exactly how many, but I don't even know how many people were there. It looked like a nice crowd, though.
It was a good amount. It's a good amount of people. It was pretty impressive to watch. I enjoyed it being there. I could not have been there all day. I was ready to go when it was time to go.
Oh, yeah, that was enough.
That was enough for me. But I love the stories. And it was really fun to see how they relate to my business and stuff in the same similar vibes of just really trying to do better than what you've seen before you and just trying to push your industry further and further. And that I could really relate to and was inspired by listening to. It was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. But it was also like, man, a lot of stereotypical wrestling nerds look like stereotypical wrestling nerds. And I was like, I didn't want to believe that.
Like, damn, I fit into this mold too easily.
Yeah.
Hold on, Ron. You just now found this out?
I knew it.
Unfortunately, highspots.com did not, who sponsored the event, did not record any of it, but we have some tape. We have some tape. What? Flipping what?
Record any of it.
What? I thought that was going to be taped. That's cool. That's
seems
what we
like they
did.
were taping.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's what made it that much more exclusive. That's what made it that much more exclusive. So we've got a couple of clips.
Holy shit.
I thought that's why they weren't having people taping, so that they could sell the tape later.
No, it's like I was on the tape and I was like, oh man, I'm just getting Beal. He was like, no, record anything you want. And I was like, wait, are you not? They're like, no, it's just you're the only video that we got.
So funny.
All right, so the one that we have right here is
We did it on purpose, Ron.
Oh, so he's
well, because now you can do
take it on the road.
One night only with the Kliq 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and that just made it that much more exclusive. So the clip that we have up right now is a fan asked the question, what current superstars they would want to wrestle in their prime.
I really like this part.
I did too. Let's take a look at this clip from One Night Only with the Kliq.
I just wanted to ask a question to all four of you. Obviously, the WWE's roster at the moment between the main roster and NXT is so loaded.
We get to hold down some young guys now. Is this the part of the show we hold down the young guys? Hell yeah, that's what we're known for, right? Let's hold some cats down.
The one question I want to ask, out of everyone between WWE and NXT, who's one guy that you guys look at now and think you would love to work with them, or you think you could, create something special with them, in terms of a segment or a match? Like, who's someone that you would love to have worked with, who's on the current roster?
I'm a big fan of Shinsuke Nakamura. Yeah, maybe back in my prime, I wouldn't want to get anywhere near a ring he was in now. No way.
I'd like to debut live.
Oh.
I'm going to say, in my prime, I would like to square up with Keven Owens.
When he said that, I was like, ooh, I would love to see that match.
Everybody's heard mine. There's a whole list of guys, AJ, Seth, Kevin. To me, it's all, all the new faces. That was the whole joy of this stuff, is doing different fun, trying to think of fun, new, innovative stuff with each and every one. Sean, you got to know, to be one of those young cats and to be looking forward to working with you, bro. I don't know if we have put you over enough.
You have, certainly.
No, I mean,
Sean looks pretty damn good.
I was just about to say, them guns is popping.
It's that lighting, that top lighting.
Honestly, this goes to what Kev was saying about the David Goliath. The guy my mouth would be watering over would be Braun Strowman.
Which I would love to. I love that answer. Dude.
like you could take him to another level.
I would.
You'd be pumping all over the place, Ron. It'd be crazy.
They're all new faces for us, and that's what, again, we all enjoyed that. And the thing is, it only isn't fun when you get guys that feel like that. Just doing that, when they're feel like they're inhibited by something. That's when it gets fun, because they're not fun, because most enjoyment out of this thing is being able to go out there and just let it rip. It's all about hearing people's story.
One time, man, I'm looking back at that screen behind us, and there's the Young Bucks.
Yeah. No, I thought they were just going to put like a static screen. They just left
You didn't have like a Kliq thing to put up there?
They were flashing the stuff from the whole event, but they couldn't pause it for some reason. Really, really interesting. The whole night,
really interesting.
The whole night was something to remember. And if y'all ever do it again, highly recommend everybody to.
Check it out.
To check it out.
Don't pay the highest ticket level.
Or do.
I'm the complete opposite. If I could afford it, I would have went balls to the wall, got tier 1 just so I could be like, yeah, I got to ride in a limo with the Kliq. I got this awesome Rob Schremberger.
Yeah, that poster
That
was
was
awesome.
sweet.
Awesome.
Watercolor.
I was like trying to just pull one away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I
man.
loved it. I was like, oh, I'm in a limo with the Kliq, like it's like late 90s WCW. I loved it, and I know you loved it. I was like, and then I saw how much it was, and I was like, oh, I was so happy.
You loved it that much more.
I loved your tweet where you're like, Rey Mysterio better watch out. I just got out of a limo with the Kliq.
Classic lawn dart.
You know what? My mom came to that, and then she came for WrestleMania too, and I hadn't seen her in a couple of years since my grandfather died, so it was really, really cool seeing my mom. And she got there late. She was crying. Bless her heart. She was all upset on the phone with me. Oh, I took the wrong turn. And I'm like, well, what does it say in your GPS? I'm not very good at GPS. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
What was it like?
I'm like, Mom, calm down. It's going to be okay.
It's good.
Regardless.
No
matter
Cool.
what.
I like your mom.
Did you feel any
great.
sort of reticence telling some of the stories or recalling some of the stories from back in the day with your mom in the room?
No.
Yeah.
God, my mom's seen the worst of me up close. Shit. There's nothing like my family. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? You ever Google me?
Something
Oh no, I think I have a friend that cleaned some of that up for me.
Fixing the internet one story at a time.
Something I noticed is you don't have a bandana on.
Oh, and yeah.
Did you? You said you didn't wear one the
I
entire
didn't.
weekend.
I didn't. No, I did have a do-rag on a couple of times. Different versions of a do-rag, but for the most part, I just let my receding hairline show.
He was real chill. I'll tell you the funniest thing I heard you say the whole time was when we were on our way to the Hall of Fame, and he just to himself goes, "Oh man, I wish I brought my more formal fanny pack."
Yeah, man, it was clashing like hell.
The DC camo fanny pack wasn't working with your outfit?
Not doing good, man. Not doing good, because everything else was sweet. But also, I haven't seen him in at least 25 years, maybe more. Joe Malenko came to see me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What was that like?
I put it this way, man. It really made my day.
Yeah.
It's always great to see Dean. I see him often now, and I just haven't seen Joe in forever. And he was the one that will kill you, man. That guy, he was Carl Gotch's favorite student.
That says a lot.
Prize student, yes. And that guy, before there were all the MMA schools and everything, and just all the guys doing MMA, there was no one like that guy walking around. There were very few people on earth that could do what that guy did back then.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot now, just one none. So.
At one of the last conventions you went to, you saw Steve McMichael, and you were so excited to see him in good health. Was there anyone you saw this weekend that you were like, man, you look great, it's so good to see you?
Man, more the
it was
opposite.
him. It was Pac.
Yeah.
That's what everybody was saying.
You were the magnet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to be that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Everyone's
nice.
like, look at those abs, man.
That's what it's
I gotta see that in person.
Mm-hmm.
Break a bottle on them abs. I got some clothes to do. Wash them on that board.
He gets to wash some clothes.
Yeah, there were some people that I was sad to see not looking too good, and I'm not naming names, obviously, and I've been that guy, on more than 1 year when people have seen me. So there's hope for everyone, Jimbo.
Yeah, man.
There is, man.
Why'd you point him out?
You know why. Everybody knows why.
The Kliq reunion was amazing. It was amazing meeting Scott, because everybody related to AfterBuzz, to Keven and Maria too. He was so appreciative for what Keven and Maria have given you the platform to do, and he's one of the coolest guys. He stopped for us at the Hall of Fame red carpet because he recognized the logo and wanted to just. He loves you so much, and he said it on the panel too. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And he actually was my first guest, even though he hates doing these things.
That's what he kept saying. Man, I hate doing interviews and this stuff, but I recognize the logo and I wanted to help Pac out.
He called me the N-word.
I was wondering.
Of course, I'm not going 100%, and I loved it. We're friends now. We're friends.
I wish he was lying.
Is there anything else about the night with the Kliq that you wanted to bring up before we talk about the main show?
There was, but no, I can't.
Anything about the limo ride? About any other stories?
Any fans have some really good stories for you guys of how you impacted their lives or made a change in them, or how they've just looked up to you over the years? Any great fans interaction?
No, nothing.
No, not really.
No.
There's one cool older Asian guy who just kept asking questions. That was my favorite. He was my favorite. You remember him, the balding Asian guy? And they were like, "You guys have any feedback?" And he's like, "Oh, I thought there'd be more Q&A." And then they're like, "Well, ask your questions." And he was ready to go.
Were they good questions?
They were solid questions. Yeah, he knew a lot about wrestling. They were good questions.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
I got a lot of questions. So, did you like better being in DX or?
Sure, if you've never heard this question before, we'll probably talk a little bit more about the Kliq reunion as we go on. Keep pulling more clips from the event, and so stay tuned. X-Pac 1-260. But let's talk about WrestleMania 33. We talked about some of the matches in our first segment
because we haven't talked about it at all yet.
No, not whatsoever. Let's start with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Okay.
I want to know, Sean, is that something that you would ever return for a big battle royal like that?
I mean, if they ask me to, Mark.
Yeah.
But, I mean, It's really not
your place to
not
be like,
forte.
you know what?
I
I'm
think that'd be
throwing
a
my
waste.
bandana in the ring.
I think that'd be a waste of bringing you back at Mania to just put you in
I mean,
there.
a Royal Rumble style
that-
gimmick where I come in and shine and then get tossed out. That's how I'd like to do it.
Yeah, you get your entrance,
Yeah.
music hits.
Yeah, guys.
Full pyro.
Have guys feed me from, get my shit in, and then bam, out I
Two
go.
spin kicks a Bronco Buster in a suck it, and he's out the door.
And it's over the top rope.
Yeah.
This one had a lot. Everybody from Raw and SmackDown. Killian Dane from NXT, formerly Big Damo. This was a lot of fun. We got Rob Gronkowski involved. How did you like it, Ron?
These things are always pointless to me, but like fun, and also usually I'm like, I can figure out who they don't care for by who's in these battle royals. So it was weird to see, and I was kind of upset to see the SmackDown Tag Team Champions and the their opponents in that battle royal. I would have loved to see some type. I feel like the Usos have really been killing it lately, and I would have loved to see them have some type of tag team match to showcase what they're good at. And then also it just seemed like a big thing to just be like, hey, so that they'd be on ESPN, So they had Mojo go over because he's friends with Gronk, and I like Mojo. I think he's good. I think he has some John Cena light qualities, but like I don't think he. I mean, if it meant anything, I would have been angry. But like that thing doesn't mean nothing. I wish it did.
Did you think it did at first when
the first year?
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna mean something. Yes, but then the second year came.
Something like that can end up being just a. There's not enough spots on the card, and you still want to give everyone throw everyone a bone at the end of the year, and so it's just a good way to do it. And I've talked about this before. My WrestleMania 10 match was a 10-man tag with a bunch of us just thrown in there, just so we could have a match on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That never happened, anyways. But I think there were some matches that were supposed to be on the show that weren't on this time.
There was a cruiserweight.
Yeah, supposedly there's supposed to be like a 6-man, 8-man cruiserweight match.
But were they announced?
It wasn't announced.
So yeah, it's not as big a deal. Like we were actually announced and advertised for WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
And so like you have family members sitting there waiting for you to come out, and then you never do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks for them.
I'm on that side of it. It's like it's just nice to get everybody to shine and stuff, and that's cool.
I thought it was cool that it was Jinder Mahal that was the second to last guy eliminated. Like he's been not doing too much on Raw, but I've always been a fan of his. So giving him an opportunity to get tackled by Gronk and making sure that he had the chance.
Even talk about my favorite person in the match, which was the kayfabe security guard.
Nobody told her about this.
Nobody told her, and she was like, "I'm gonna do my job," and I loved it. I loved the fact that she did her job.
Yeah,
because I was watching and I'm thinking to myself, man, they send a female, like, not to sound sexist, but they send a female in to get them between a 300-pound.
No, she was just doing her real job.
Wow.
Well, she works for WWE. She wasn't part of the, like, she's shown up at other events, like doing security like that before.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, then she'd probably take care of herself just fine.
Just fine.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. The wrestlers go, no. He's supposed to,
like
he's
6
supposed to come
people
through.
start.
Whoops. That was fun.
It reminds me of like the Miz and Maurice from Raw after last year's Mania when she jumped the guardrail and security's like holding her like, no, you're not, no. And
He's like, wait a minute.
Miz is like, no, let her through or I'll have you fired.
Okay.
Saved it.
So I know this before the thing was even over. Big Show had a bunch of guys that were in the Battle Royal back in the back, and he was going off.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was over the stuff with him and Strowman. Because they had a moment there, and I think the moment got taken from him too quick.
Yeah, there was a brief stare down, and it was like, all right, go crazy.
Yes, and then something happened
then they just were torn apart from each other.
Yes.
Do you, like, he's gone on record saying that this is probably his last WrestleMania.
I hope not.
I hope not as well.
I hope
he
not.
Deserves
he deserves
a moment.
way more than that.
Yeah,
way more.
And I think if it was, maybe he would have won the Battle Royal, given him one last hurrah on the way out. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
it's not.
I hope he comes back as well.
He's in great shape.
Yeah,
he's in better shape now than he's like ever been in. It looks like.
Yeah. We're going to skip around here. Let's talk about Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles. A match that even Corey Graves went on record saying that he wasn't excited for, but I thought it killed.
It did.
It did very well.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be fine. Like, okay, some people think that Shane the only matches he can have are just stunt shows, and it's not the case. The very first real match he had was with me at WrestleMania, and it wasn't. It was nothing of the sort.
Nothing of the kind. Yeah.
It was, and then I had a match with him. I think it was called No Mercy. It was the UK pay-per-view. I had another really, really good match, excellent match. I knew it was going to be fun. I knew it was going to be excellent, actually, which it was. My only criticism of it
happens.
Yes, where they missed out on an opportunity for some great near falls, a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
when Shane was laying there in the corner with the garbage can pushed up against him, and AJ went for the Van Terminator, and he got stuffed.
Yeah,
should have covered him right there. 1, 2, not to date. Then he could have set him up for that other move.
Even with the ref wake up, do that, and then they knock him out again, because that would have been a DQ.
It would have.
Yeah.
It would have just. You just would have done that in a different spot. That's all. You don't
Build
sacrifice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't sacrifice. But I mean, okay. Here's the thing. I'm nitpicking now.
That's
okay.
What we're here for.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. But I wouldn't appreciate it very much. Well, I probably would, but some people might not. It's their art, you know, and it's how they express it. And who am I to say? I would have done it different, a little bit.
Still very entertaining.
It was a great
match. Love the match.
Excellent match.
Well, it's still I think everybody agrees that AJ should have had a better position on the show. I feel like it's disrespectful to the work that he's put in, that to not be more have a match with Shane McMahon is a prominent match. That's true.
Trusted with the boss's son.
Yeah, that's very important. But it's just I had no real fun watching that Bray Wyatt Randy Orton match, and I was just the whole time I would have loved to see AJ fighting for the title at that point.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel.
Did you enjoy it, Jimbo?
I thought it was good. My favorite part was the elbow off through the table.
Yeah.
So, classic Shane. I was just like, oh, it was great.
That was the biggest stunt.
When he missed the shooting star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was great.
And it looked damn cleaner than Lesnar's a couple years ago, but
and that should have been the finish right after that. They should have got him right there, hit him with this finish right there, after the shooting star.
Yeah, because everybody was still kind of coming down from it. And
yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about the United States Championship match: Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. I like how they used the list to bring back the countdown before his entrance, giant inflatable list that will probably sit in a warehouse somewhere forever. But I had fun with it. But how did y'all enjoy it?
I didn't see the whole thing. I saw bits and pieces of it, and I thought it was good. I wasn't a fan of the finish.
Yeah,
and I was great that Chris did the job for him, clean the middle, put him over. But it was to hit him with that on the outside, that power bomb on the apron, and then roll him back in, and then cover him 1, 2, 3. It flattened it.
That's a lot of time in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you said. I feel like the finish was rushed. It's like what we were talking about before, where the Goldberg Lesnar match would not have benefited for more time, but I feel like this match 100% was a match that needed another 5-10 minutes to really tell the story. Especially for me, I was severely disappointed because it had been my favorite plot of leading up to WrestleMania. I was really excited for that match. I was going like, this is going to be the match that steals the show, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
I just think it wasn't their fault. I just think they needed more time.
Yeah.
The highlight of it for me, this is so nerdy right now.
Please.
So where I'm watching it in my house, I have action figures all over my room, and someone pulls out my Kevin Owens and Jericho, and they're like, "What's gonna happen?" And I was like, "He's gonna pop up, powerbomb him, catch him with a code breaker." And then it happened in the match. I was like, "I did that with my figures." So I was like, super nerd. That was like my favorite.
Oh, God.
It was
I
worth
used to do
saying.
that shit too when I was 10 years old. No, actually, Jimbo, I'm not gonna lie. I was in damn near or almost starting to go to wrestling school, and I was still playing with my wrestling dolls.
That's fine.
They're action figures. Pac came over to watch wrestling a couple nights ago, and I had him sign one of mine, so I'm with you.
Is it the 1, 2, 3 Kid one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
A bunch of collectors in here. Love it. Love it. Let's move on to the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match for the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax. A lot of great entrances. And Nia Jax got the crap beat out of her by all three women.
Yeah, that's who I want to talk about. It's Nia Jax. She was great.
She's awesome.
She was one of the first time where I didn't look at her. I mean, she had one spot where they kicked her out of the ring, or maybe that was on Raw. I don't know. Either way, they kicked her out of the ring and she didn't take it well. But other than that, like, she bumped all over the place. She was strong and solid. I really like her. I've been really I slowed to come around to be a fan of hers, but I really like her. I think she has a strong future in the business.
I agree.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think the entrances with Charlotte's entrance was amazing. Her gear.
Yeah,
man.
That was my
got
favorite. I got
so
a great tweet about that because I had the
awesome.
gif of her coming out with the fireworks and twirling around. I go, I think this is what the female orgasm feels like. People like that tweet. It was a solid tweet for me.
That
Social media engagement, 100%.
her robe was amazing too.
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
it's the same exact color as one of the robes that her dad used to wear.
I like the
that green
echoing
color,
of the of all of her attire to Flair's. Like in the last WrestleMania, she wore the blue that was Flair's first robe that they changed for her. Yeah. I like all the family history.
She really is the best. Like,
She
to
is
me,
the best.
overall,
No
like
problem.
she's the best.
No doubt about it. She is the best. I mean, she's just like what they say. She's genetically superior.
Yeah.
I see her walking around. She's so tall and strong and built. She's just the best.
Her dive to the outside scared the living hell out of me, but she landed on her feet. Like,
yeah, she nailed it.
Insanity.
Yeah.
The next day at the pool, at the poolside bar, I was talking to Nate about Taker and Reigns, and he was talking about how Reigns is the hottest heel in wrestling now, right next to his daughter Ashley.
Yeah.
And I can't.
You can't deny it.
No, man, because I mean she's that damn good.
Yeah. 100% genetically superior. Didn't come out on top. Bayley ended up winning that one. But the Raw Women's division just keeps killing it. Both women's divisions keep killing it.
I watch these girls come down the ramp, and I see Bayley coming down the ramp and looking at the expression on her face, and like just thinking about how she felt right there. I mean, it's just when I met her up in the Bay Area, I don't think a lot of people would have, given her much of a chance. It was, she didn't have that stereotypical look, that diva look that they are looking for. And she's just gone
Well,
out
I'll
and
tell
just
you,
killed it.
I've never seen her without that half ponytail before, but her just walking around backstage, that's a beautiful lady.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and did you see her at the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got a chance to interview her. Her and her.
She did a great Teddy Long impression. It
She
was
did
so good.
Yeah, we were asking people in their best Teddy Long impression to make tag team matches, and she was the only person that went full dance, full everything. She's a wonderful person.
Holla,
She's
holla,
great.
holla, holla.
Yeah,
We love her. We love some Bayley.
yeah, and Sasha's gear looked absolutely amazing.
She's impeccable, man. Everything she handles her business.
That's why she's the boss.
Yes,
She had
exactly.
a personal seamster
She was smart enough to get driven down that ramp.
instead of walking. She wasn't blown by the time she made it to the bottom.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about the set, the production values, that ramp.
Shit.
How about that freaking snake following
Randy? That
Orton
was
down
so
the damn
cool.
ramp, man.
We were like, it's following him. That's so cool. The Yellow Brick Road for the New Day.
Yeah. I like that. I love that whole thing, and I mean, I'm assuming we're going to talk about it in a match later, but I think seeing it in like every entrance, so then when they tried to use it for the Orton Wyatt match, no part of me could suspend my disbelief to be like, oh, Bray Wyatt's making that happen. I'm like, you guys have been doing like things this whole event.
Yeah, right? What was that? Did anyone ever figure out?
It's
what the
just
hell
supposed
that
to be
was?
like the power
Like
of
a
Sister
mind-
Abigail, mind game sort of thing.
Well-
Like, we'll circle back, but since we're there, why don't we talk about Wyatt Orton with some cool, and I air quotes video effects on the ring where Orton was Wyatt was trying to get into Orton's head.
I mean, without context,
Yes.
they were cool. Like,
Yeah.
you watch it and you're like, that's visually impressive.
Something
to
that's
see.
never been done at a WrestleMania before.
Yeah, it looked awesome. But, like, to have it within the context of the story of it being with some of Bray Wyatt's powers, it was hokey because it's like, well, I've seen you play with the lights and play with everything this whole event.
Was it Papa Shango making Ultimate Warrior spew green shit out of his forehead?
It was weird for sure.
Not quite.
Not quite that far. Not quite that far.
I thought we were going to get it circled back where we were going to see like a bunch of snakes or
Yeah.
something, like Orton like used the power against him at least to keep it within that.
Yeah,
I
and
would
then
have
just
just
kind of nothing just went away.
I
Yeah.
would have had a spot set up where, right when something was gonna happen, like Bray does the voodoo something, and then it shows up, so you know, like
He's
it
doing
was-
it.
He's
you know,
making
you
it
pantomime it. You know,
Yeah,
Do it, as
doing
opposed
it.
to doing something big so that everybody can see it. Just
Yeah.
his regular pose.
Would
that
have
he
been
does.
a dope finish to me is that if like Bray that would be great if Bray's doing it and Randy just is like nah, RK's owes him, breaks that breaks that
like a glass
illusion.
shattering effect on the video.
Yeah, and then it brings it back to the regular ring.
'Cause
I would have been like, that's amazing. You
it
know?
was intriguing. I mean, we were sitting there watching it. I was like, what is that? Like, and we're trying to figure out in our own heads what was going on. You know. What?
Yeah, I have not been interested in that program since it started, and I just don't get it. I think it's been so convoluted. To me, I'm like, why would you ever give up your Royal Rumble spot to then in 2 weeks be like, nah, I was playing, y'all. I want it back. I want it back. Ooh, I'm crazy with how I do things. Like, just doesn't
I
make
was
sense.
hoping they would have taken it all the way to WrestleMania to the point where Randy just like the match starts, he lays down and Wyatt goes for the pin, and then he gets up, RKO's him, and then it's like, nope, played you the whole time.
Yeah. There's one or two ways to do it.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Either you admit it earlier or you hold it all the way to the end, and they didn't either. So it was kind of boring, and to me, a big disservice to Bray Wyatt.
I was bummed out that he lost.
Yeah.
Me too.
At least it
you know.
would have been nice to see him hold on to it somehow.
Well, he invoked his rematch clause. They're going to be doing a House of Horrors match. Nobody has any idea what the hell that is. And Orton just sort of agreed to it without being like, so is it like a submissions or like, no, it's just a House of Horrors match. We don't know if it's going to happen next week on SmackDown or if it's going to happen at the next pay-per-view, but it's going to maybe be crazy.
There's going to be a lot of visual effects.
Yeah,
We
probably.
know that.
Shoot it in the back in the boiler room or something. But if it takes
We
place
know
in
they've
that
been
ring,
watching those Hardys videos.
now that they're with the company, they can talk about it and do it again.
He's gonna have some drones shooting bottle rockets at people.
Let's talk about. You guys want to talk about the mixed tag between John Cena, Nikki Bella, Miz, and Maurice?
I mean, it was pointless, right? It was only.
It was
just
for
the
after the match.
proposal.
Yeah.
That's
It was fine, man.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever seen John put in a WrestleMania match where he wasn't a solid workhorse of the night.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, hey man, honestly, it's fine too. Like, I mean, it's okay. He's
Yeah.
put in his time, he's worked his ass off.
And it wasn't about that. Like,
Right,
that whole
exactly.
match was just about that ring in his pocket, which is also fun that he wrestled a whole match with a ring in his
Yeah,
pocket.
man. But you know what I was waiting for the whole time? For that John Cena heel turn. You think I'm marrying you? Psych! Bam!
hit it with an attitude.
Yes.
Adjustment.
We were sitting back I was sitting in gorilla position talking to Sean as it's going on. I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be great right now? Wouldn't it be great?
Puts her in the STF.
Oh yeah.
You can't see me.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to actually
of course not.
physicalities, but
No, I like that now as a whole bit. We set up the whole wedding,
Right.
and then just waiting for him to come down the ramp, and he's all.
Let's talk about the non-sanctioned match. Triple H, Seth Rollins. Awesome entrance, I think, by both.
Yeah.
I think it took a little while for everybody to get what Seth Rollins was doing, but once it
Yes.
started to happen,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is super cool.
He should have had like Kane's pyro off the ring posts.
Yeah, they could have done a little bit more with it.
Because it went all the way down and it set off the fireworks in the back, but it should have pyroed the ring posts because it was all fire.
That would be
I
great.
was like,
And
would've
that
just been like,
moment in
oh,
specific was
yeah.
one of the things I think where I was like, okay, I'm not buying this Orton thing because I was like, I just saw you guys do a whole effect where you had him set the fire down and do the whole thing.
and even the snake following him down the ramp was as or more impressive than the stuff that was in the ring when they than the effect.
It's like
that snake was. That snake is so over with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love the whole. I just love them using LEDs on the ramp. That's amazing. I love it.
Hey,
they've been doing that with the new sets.
Yeah.
And they, when they switched over to LEDs, you don't know how freaking hot it was under them lights, man, when we were shooting TVs. I mean, way over 100 degrees. Everyone else is just fine in the crowd, and I mean, you overheat sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I used to, and I mean, having the LEDs. Imagine how hot it would be in here right now.
Absolutely.
Without these, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough about the LEDs.
Anything super hot about the Triple H Rollins match?
Just better than I thought it would be. It was super cool that Seth was able to pull that together while, coming off his injury and being sick, right? He was
sick.
He was very sick at the time. I saw him right after. I think I was on the elevator with him coming back from WrestleMania, and he was done.
Yeah.
He didn't go to a party. He went to bed. Like,
I don't blame him.
Yeah, he was sick. So it was really impressive.
That's even more impressive. Awesome.
Yeah.
Then the last thing we'll talk about before we start doing some wrap ups. Let's talk a little bit more about Undertaker Roman Reigns, more about the Roman Reigns part of it.
Okay.
I loved his performance through this whole match.
Okay.
Yeah. And it served its purpose. Everybody wanted him to properly turn heel, but he doesn't need to.
Oh my God! There's Wade Keller, I think, wrote an article about me talking about that.
Really?
Yeah, Wade's my buddy, man. And he wasn't too happy. I guess he apparently disagrees with me completely on that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so many people just need there to be a technical heel turn there.
Yeah.
I don't get that, man.
If anybody saw Raw on Monday night, he's doing just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. But, I mean, and this is how I like him. This is how I like him, just being cocky and egotistical and just I've always thought, I never liked the superhero Roman Reigns. I never was into that because I was like, you look like a guy that if I left you alone with my girlfriend, you would hit on her. And I'm not saying he would. I'm just saying that's what he looks like. And that's what the character I want him to play. And now he's more being like that. Not necessarily, nothing sexual necessarily, but just being more like, I did it. I took out your hero. Who cares, And I like that. I don't speak for Pac, but I would like to see if he's going to be the guy. I would like him to see him be able to carry that match a little bit better. I like to see him if the Undertaker is his last. There's a lot of blown spots, the blown tombstone, things like that.
What was that about? Was he going for a reversal?
Yeah.
So
The Undertaker's just too heavy, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a weird way to grab somebody too.
Yeah, but it's not so much that I've done that spot a bunch of times with guys that were quite a bit heavier than me, and it's just a matter of how you do it, man. It could be done just fine, and I guarantee you it was at one point. I mean, I can't imagine it not a bit. So I don't. It's just a really unfortunate time for something like that to happen, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are going to go back and point at that as no, it wasn't great. Remember that one time where they botched that thing? It's that's not.
No, but
that's
what Pac and I talked about when we watched, because we were at WrestleMania, and then we came back to the hotel and watched it again and eating poorly. At least I was eating cheesecake. But don't tell my trainer. But seeing it live was a completely different match. It was seemed real sloppy. It seemed like a sad way to watch him go out. But when you watched it with the commentary, with the camera angles and everything, it was a completely different match. It was very enjoyable. The only thing is it really to me showed that they don't need that many people at the announce table, because if you have Jim Ross there, let him talk. Yeah. Because they wouldn't let him talk.
Yes, that was one of the things I noticed big time. When watching that back, was that it seemed like everyone was just taking turns trying to get their shit in on the announce table.
Was Michael Cole trying, or who was all on the table for that? It was Michael Cole, JR, Byron Saxton, or JBL. Okay,
JBL.
I think Byron was still there, or no?
Yeah, I think by the time JR was there, it was the 4 people announced.
Okay, that's too many.
Yeah, when you have JR, it should just be 2. They could be there, but they should just shut up.
Yeah.
Or why bring them down?
You're our guest. You should talk.
Yeah.
The thing about that match too is it's one of those matches that's besides watching it on, to hear the commentary and all that, it's a way better matchup close to, because a lot of the good stuff was stuff that you could see in real tight, like Taker's punches, and everything like that was all the little details that you can't see from up in the stands, So that was a big part of what made it so much better watching it on the screen.
I'm definitely gonna check it out that way then, because I enjoyed it, but I'm sure I'll like it that much more.
My God, way more.
Way better.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Excellent. WrestleMania was a solid show. It was wonderful to be there in person again. That set, the huge globe, the roller coaster, the drop ride, just
the ring on top of a ring. It was like a birthday cake.
So many people at my place were like, "So who wrestles up there?"
I was
like,
waiting.
No, that's just part of the set.
Gonna, drop
They're like,
I thought Shane was going to come off the top of that freaking thing.
I did like how they lit the ropes for whatever shows had the match in the ring. I thought that was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah. But let's talk just a tiny bit about Raw and SmackDown. We had some NXT call-ups on Raw, or a NXT call-up on Raw. The Revival made their debut against the New Day.
Massive pop for those guys when they came out, right?
They're one of the best tag teams in the world.
I love how he pushed over the ice cream cart and then the other one stepped on it to get in the ring. Like, that was just great.
Their gimmick is that they're jerks.
Exactly.
That wrestle really well.
Like, how are we going to... just let them know. We hate these guys. Just push over that ice cream cart. You step on it to get in the ring. Like,
perfect opponents for them, right? Like, the New Day is all about being entertaining, and the fans and the Revival come out and they're just like, nah, we just wrestle. We just wrestle and we look a lot alike.
Luckily, we have different hair.
Yeah.
And you can tell us apart that
And
way.
I stole Ole Anderson's wrestling boots.
Yeah, they're not shy about that either. They're like, they post pictures of Ole and Arn and are just like, here's us talking with whomever. It's like, oh no, that's not you flipping liars. We got the return of Finn Balor and Emma as well. Emma back to the
I like Emma.
I love Emma.
I like what they're doing with her.
Biggest Emma news is I saw that she's not with Zack Ryder anymore. So what's up, Emma?
Well, that explains Hall of Fame. And then on SmackDown, we had Ty Dillinger making his debut, and Shinsuke Nakamura just showed up in a segment with The Miz and didn't have to say anything or do anything. And now we have some new folks showing up on Raw and SmackDown. And then we've got the Superstar Shakeup that's going to be coming up next Monday on Raw. We're going to be seeing some from Raw going to SmackDown, some folks from SmackDown going to Raw. Is there anybody in particular that you would like to see on either show?
Well, I mean, I know I want to talk a little bit about the people debut, and I love Nakamura's debut, and I love you could tell that what they think about each guy by how they debuted. They had Ty Dillinger come in and have a great match and win, but it was against Kurt Hawkins. They have Nakamura come in and interrupt like one of their main event guys, The Miz. So it really lets you set the tone for what they think about them right away, and I love that, which means we're probably going to get a Miz Nakamura program, and I think that'll be great because those are two of my favorite wrestlers right now. I think The Miz is amazing, so I'm real into that. As far as the shakeup, I mean, I think most people just want to see Sami Zayn go to SmackDown, and I'm one of those people. I just thought about this, and I just think it's silly, and it probably will not happen, but I would like to see if they broke up American Alpha and had Gable go to Raw and kind of be like maybe a protege for Angle, I think that would be a real silly thing to have happen and would be something I'd be interested in. To me, Chad Gable is the next Kurt Angle, and I'd like to see them together. That's it. But I like Jason Jordan too, so I don't really want them to break up.
Like during the draft, they drafted whole tag teams instead of people individually, so it's possible that American Alpha can just show up on Raw.
Yeah, that'd be great too.
When I shot the seminar with Sami Callihan at PCW, he was talking about Jason Jordan and that Jason Jordan can do shooting star presses and springboard 450s and all sorts of moves that they just want him wrestling like that competitive Olympic style right now. But he has a whole bunch of stuff that no one has seen.
There's enough people doing that shit already, Jimbo.
You don't think it would be cool if they split them up and he just has a whole different kind of character?
No.
No?
No.
I mean, American Alpha works really well.
Oh, I think they work great together.
Yeah, those moves are great, man. But I mean, do you want the guy to have a long career and make some money, Jimbo, or do you want him to do cool shit so you can get your rock
I don't
solid.
know. It depends on what's entertaining to
He
me.
wants
like
bow.
he's entertaining, he's entertaining doing suplexes and everything. But if he could do a shooting star press
he's
every now
great.
and then, like,
I mean,
Sometimes
that's cool.
we need to stay in our lane, even
Yeah.
though we can do other things.
He's like the
That's
best
all I'm
dude
saying.
coming in off the hot tag. Like
Yeah.
right now, he's like
Yeah.
his offense is amazing. I love him. I just love Gable. I really feel like he has a lot more comedy and things in him. that he's not showing.
like when Kurt Angle started going into comedy, I think they would mesh really well. I agree with you. Yeah.
Here's what I think they should do with these guys when they bring them in. Do not assume you know how the people are going to respond to them, and pigeonhole them into being baby faces or heels when you first bring them in. Just debut them, man, and see how the people react. Because I don't know, it's hard. Gable, Alpha Male.
American Alpha.
American Alpha, sorry. Great tag team. Over as F and NXT, but they didn't get over that big as baby faces, man. You need to bring people in and either introduce them as heels or just let the people decide. Because, I mean,
Yeah, it's hard to get behind him. You
Yes.
saw when the Usos got the title from him, they got the face pop because
Yeah.
like people they weren't invested in American Alpha.
right.
They like their matches, but they're
Yeah.
not invested. That's one of the reasons why I'd be interested in them getting a shakeup because I don't feel like they're hitting as hard as they should be.
Yeah, and with SmackDown, when SmackDown was here a couple weeks ago, the Usos had an amazing promo that showed, you know what? Yeah, maybe they're trying to work their way back up and be the best that they can. And they were kind of jerks about it, but it was still something that everybody could relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the Usos have been killing it. I love
Yeah.
that family. Naomi, I love
Yeah.
it. I love thinking about them.
so very happy for Naomi because she's worked
Yeah.
her ass off.
And to get-
well, she didn't work her ass all the way off.
She worked a little more on. We checked.
But to get a hometown win at WrestleMania,
Yeah, man.
is
Yeah,
super
rare.
cool.
Hell yeah. yeah, you know how that goes, right? No one wins.
No
in-
one ever wins at their hometown.
No.
Yeah, that was a double whammy.
Talk to me about that.
So before we go, Ron, why don't we have you here? Why don't you talk
Yeah.
about that beautiful shirt you're wearing? Let's talk about Get High Watch Wrestling.
Oh, it's my shirt.
Yeah.
Get
Who
High
does
Watch
that?
Wrestling is a T-shirt that I wear.
Let's talk about the event
You
on
can
your
get
T-shirt.
on Pro Wrestling Tees. And then I just basically it's how I live, and I was wearing this shirt, and then Pac just kind of texted me or called me, and he was like, "You should maybe do that as a show," and I was
Yeah.
like, nah. Then I thought about it, and then I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. So we're doing our first one at Cine Family, April 15th at 9:30 here in LA. The show really sells itself. We're gonna get high and watch wrestling. So
No surprises here.
Yeah, that's it. So it's like if you're familiar with Mystery Science Theater 3000, things like that. We're gonna watch some wrestling. I think we're gonna have video clips of some of Pac's greatest or not so great moments, and we're just gonna make fun of it.
It
And
was
we're gonna
supposed to be a highlight reel, but Matthew from Botchamania is making it, so I don't know what's going on with that.
And we're gonna have some special guests that I'm not gonna name in case they back out. Card subject to change, my man, wrestling. And so hopefully we'll do this the first one, and if people like it, we'll keep doing it. You can get tickets at Cine Family now. I'm really excited. It just sounds like exactly what I do anyway, which is get high, talk shit
Just doing
about
it with the-
wrestling.
just doing it with a crowd in front of you.
Doing it with friends.
I myself don't, but I'm just coming along just to make sure everything goes all right for Ron.
And then, if you don't mind, I'm just getting ready for my tour, my Funchemania tour,
Yeah.
which is obviously wrestling related. And people can get tickets at ronfunches.com. I'm touring all over Philadelphia, Boston, San Diego, East Coast, West Coast. I'm all around trying out new material, trying to get a special together. So if people want to go to ronfunches.com, come to my Funchemania tour, please do.
And for updates, where can the folks find you on Twitter?
Twitter is at @ronfunches.
Excellent. I'm super looking forward to Get Out Watch Wrestling, and I
Yeah.
hope that it's just the beginning. It just sounds like a great concept and a good time for fans and y'all alike.
Yeah, man.
Is there anything that you wouldn't want to screen and get high and watch? Like any of your matches where you're like, you know what, let's just leave that there.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm not trying to give the guys a bunch of any
yeah,
ideas.
I'm not gonna.
Good, just keep an open mind.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Mark. There's I've given people a lot of material to work with over the years. So who knows what's gonna end up on the screen on the April 15th.
Nice, you added the date in there. It's good.
Yeah.
Let's keep it.
Santa Family.
At Santa Family, get
On
high,
Fairfax.
watch wrestling, show up early so you can do the get high part.
Excellent. So that'll do it for this episode of X-Pac 12360. Jimbo, where can folks find you on Twitter? You got working on anything?
Find me on Twitter at Jimbo in the Booth. Check out Lucha Underground should be back
May 31st.
May 31st. Yeah, I'll be on that after show. Buy my documentary, The Young Bucks 2 Sweet Journey, at highspots.com. Oh, yeah.
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 You can find me on Twitter at Mark Budonica. I'm also part of the NXT After Show every Wednesday on AfterBuzz TV. WrestleMania week was fun. We got a whole bunch of stuff still coming out on AfterBuzz TV, so make sure to stay tuned there. We have all of our Hall of Fame interviews as well. Sean.
What?
Twitter. Twitter, anything coming up you want to talk about? Yeah.
At the Real X-Pac, and I'm in Davenport, Iowa this week, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
He is.
Jimmy, you were the man
I'm
with
in
the
Iowa
events.
somewhere.
You're in Davenport. I know. We talked about it.
Yeah.
I'm in Bloomington, Indiana. I forget the name of the club, but the Comedy Addict.
There you go. RonFunches.com for more info. Thank you for watching this episode of X-Pac 12360. Make sure to hit us up on
He's
Twitter.
wearing flip-flops this whole time. I didn't know that.
You didn't know?
Suit jacket and a flip-flop.
Oh, that's awesome.
California styles, man. I'm all about it.
Monica just got called out on the flip-flops.
That's
Undergaro's gonna love
I don't
that.
give a good goddamn. Make sure like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, subscribe here, like us on iTunes. Sean, if you would be so kind as to take us out.
All right, see you next week right here on X-Pac 12360.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek, Keven Undergaro, show producer Jimbo Frank, managing editor of AfterBuzz Wrestling Christy Olson, and managing producer of AfterBuzz Wrestling Mark Budonica, and the entire X-Pac 12360 staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Feel free to like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube, follow X-Pac on Twitter at TheRealXpac, and email us at xpac12360show@gmail.com. This has been a presentation of the AfterBuzz TV Network. Buzz you later!